Hey, CEO. A question that is on everyone's mind right now is, what do I do in my coaching business now that the economy is the way that it is? And let's talk about it. I got a call yesterday from a young lady that she's a business owner here in Houston. And she's like, hey, I think that we should have a chat about what's going on in the economy, how entrepreneurs can thrive, survive, that type of thing. And she and I are definitely going to do that once I finish my book. But the thoughts are so pressing on my mind. I'm like, whether dress, not dress, you guys know I will put out the content. But let's talk about it. On Monday, this coming Monday, what is that? January 21st, maybe? I am teaching a class on Women CEO Project's money buckets. Like, I'm breaking down what are my money buckets in business, why I have them, and the framework for a coach or a service professional that is considering, their money buckets. But my answer to what do you do now? Everything is more expensive now. Your rent is more expensive. My gosh, food. Food is more expensive. Your gas. Just everything costs more. I just left the nail shop and I'm like, wait, what? How much was it? Everything costs more. Everybody's slipping in a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. In some areas, a lot more. We're about to have a new administration coming this Monday. Oh, wait, is that the 19th? Anyway, I won't be present. I won't be watching, so I'm not keeping up. But we have a lot of things going on. And so you're wondering, should you still be in business? Should you focus on a job right now? Should you go deeper into your business? Should you invest? What should you do with this business right now? This is part of the reason I am actually even teaching that class. Women CEO Project is 14 and a half years old. I've been a coach for 14 years. And one of the things that I learned early, but I wish I would have learned earlier, was to diversify. I am so glad that I learned to diversify and create different money buckets within Women's CEO Project, because when I first started the business and I was having events, which weren't profitable at all, but I was having them, and I was coaching, I was dependent upon the emotions and, when someone decided that they wanted to get coaching. And this is when my discovery calls were free. And you guys know I don't do free discovery calls. I haven't in 10 years. It's been since 2015. But I started off doing free discovery calls. So I'm all the way in the hole. I've done a free discovery call and you didn't decide to sign up for coaching. And I was just doing this every month. And it was so unbelievably stressful. Now, granted, I got my first coaching client a month after I declared myself a coach, but I didn't have consistent clients. And I knew that I could not sustain this business just depending on coaching. I started to diversify how my coaching business made money. If you look at Women's CEO Project now, it's funny. Sometimes people will come to the page and depending on whatever time of the year they come to the page, they might see us marketing about Global Power Tour, which is my 30-city business conference for current and aspiring women entrepreneurs. I am launching number 30. It took me since 2016. I'm launching my 30th city this May. But if you come in the middle of Global Power Tour marketing, you're like, okay, it looks like a women's event is happening. If you come in the middle of me marketing or showing you behind the scenes of a retreat, you're like, okay, I see her with some women traveling. But then if you scroll down, you may see me giving business tips. You may see me working with clients. You may see testimonials from my clients. You might see a flyer for a masterclass that I have coming up. And all those things are actually happening at the same time. I learned, like I said, early on, not at the beginning, but early on, that to stay in business, I needed to diversify. Okay. Now, what should you do? Okay. I mentioned last week, I did a post last week and I said that I know it is in our nature, especially if you are a woman. And if there's a woman listening to this and she is highly sensitive, this is going to offend you. Don't at me, okay? Something in our DNA, something, not every single woman, but most women, something in our DNA tells us that at the end of the day, something or someone is going to come through and save us. Even unknowingly, we run our lives like that. If you spend all the money you have in the bank, you running your life like that. You know, if you take your rent money and you go to get Beyonce tickets, so you go to Vegas. I had girlfriends do that, seriously. And I was like, how are y'all not scared? What was that, 24? I'm like, seriously, y'all going to take rent money and go to Vegas? They went. And then they worried about rent. When they got back, I stayed home. If you do that, you know, you're hoping that something is going to come through and save you, right? Somebody's going to come through. You're going to be able to borrow from someone. Someone's going to have pity on you, whatever it is, right? And because I'm a woman myself, I know this. And I have been working with women 14 and a half years. Sometimes when they do certain things, I'm like, so what was the plan here, right? So I know that we have that in the back of our mind, whether we ever say it or not. We are thinking that someone is going to come from somewhere and save us. And sometimes, here the disclaimers, sometimes some women, because they feel that way, they don't forecast and they don't plan. I am married, and people say that all the time. Well, you have a husband to back you up. I do. I got married just a few years ago, y'all. I've been an entrepreneur for 22 years, and I've been married 5. So, them 17 years before getting married, I had to plan and forecast and think about the what ifs and, okay, well, what if my car needs X, and what if this, and what if that? Are the bases covered? How can I hedge my bets? Okay. Hedging my bets to me or for me was diversifying. Okay. I'm going through different ways that I think a coach or a service professional should diversify. So if you haven't below, the link is below. If you haven't, the link is below to my class if you haven't signed up. But for me, I'm always thinking, and I try to get my clients to think, like, how can we take everything that you have going on, all of your skills, all of your experience, and how can we maximize every area? Okay. Should you keep your job? Yes. Without knowing you, without knowing your situation, without knowing your business? Yes. With this economy and this administration, I don't need to know you to tell you yes. Now, I would say is not the time to quit your job unless you are making more than you make at your job and you've been making it at least 12 months. Then I would maybe consider it, right? If you're not there yet, I would probably hold back for a little bit right now because everything's kind of shaky. It's in the air. I'd rather have a too much money problem. Is that a real thing? You know? So should you keep your job? Yes. Should you look for a job if you don't have a job? Probably. Okay. Now, I know people may be shocked to hear that because I've been an entrepreneur, like I said, for 22 years. I haven't had a job working for anyone. What year was that? 2007. 2007 was the last time I had a job working for anyone else. But I'm a pragmatic person and I'm very practical. Okay. This could be a great time for you to get a job. Okay. Now, it is going to require you to be super intentional and about your time and proactive about what you're doing. Okay. Right now, you have to be super intentional. You have to, if you're going to get a job and work a business so that you can get through the next 2, 3, 4 years, you don't have a ton of free time. And again, I know everyone feels like as an entrepreneur, everything should align perfectly. You should have equal parts amount of time to rest, to work on your business, to have self-care, to go to yoga, to do your morning routine, all of that. I understand all of that, but I also understand seasons. And being in business 22 years, I've gone through a lot of seasons. I understand that sometimes the season calls for more intensity. Sometimes the season calls for being a really good budgeter. Sometimes the season calls for picking up all the money on the table, not leaving any money on the table. Should you get a job? Yes. Should you keep your job? Yes. Should you have your business on the side? Absolutely yes. Should you put yourself as an independent contractor, hang your digital shingle on Upwork? Yes. Okay. It's multiple things that you should do. Should you teach? Probably. Right? Should you teach classes? Should you try to speak? Should you write that book? Should you write that ebook? Should you create that course? Should you create that video series? Should you pitch yourself to potential clients every day via LinkedIn or DM? The answer is yes. Okay. The lady that I talked to yesterday that wanted us to have a conversation, I'm really getting good my damn self at, being really productive. I'm a pretty productive person, but I'm a Virgo. So I always feel like there's an ounce more productivity. I could get a little bit better. So I did tell her, hey, I'm like knee deep into the last quarter 4 of my book completion. I just got my trademark approved the other day, so it's full blast, finishing it up. We can do this after I finish my book. That's what I told her. But she felt like I would be a good person for us to do like a co-live stream because she's like, no one actually just tells people the truth online. And I told her, first of all, I'm a horrible liar. Second of all, I've been in business so long, I feel like God wouldn't even bless me no more if I didn't try to at least try. I know some people won't listen, but if I don't at least try to give people advice on things I have already crossed. Okay. I have crossed spending my last without forecasting and without planning. I have crossed subprime loans not being awarded anymore, and I am a real estate broker and a loan officer and losing all of my business within 4 days and putting my signs for sale on Craigslist and selling, any little real estate tool I had because I had no clients and nobody could get a loan. Like, I've been through those things. So it has taught me, hey, when you are a business owner, I know we would love to be somewhere sitting on a lily pad and only focusing on our industry and our business and that type of thing. And yes, as a CEO, you got to focus on that. But also as a CEO, you got to be a worldly, you have to be a reader. You have to look at things that are going on in the world, not just the economy in Texas, not just the economy in the United States. What's going on in the world, right? What's going on in the world? It looks like things are not that good. Oh, I'm looking at prices of things and the prices are changing drastically. Like, I need to pay attention to this. Okay? Being a CEO isn't just what do I have to do to run my business today? It is also How can I forecast and how can I plan to the best of my ability so that my business is here in 2029, in 2030? How can I plan? What can I do today so that my business is here during that time? And one thing that I definitely want to mention is that now is also a great time to, if you have a big ego or you're super prideful, let that go. Okay? You're going to have that ego and be out of business. We're going to be talking about you like, where's such and such business, girl? She let her ego be the CEO. When your ego is the CEO, you have a long laundry list of things that you can't do, that you won't do, that you couldn't see yourself doing. But when you are a scrappy CEO that is trying to stay in business, that can't do, won't do, couldn't see yourself do list is, other than something that's illegal, you don't have much of nothing on that list. I've told my husband, I really like being an entrepreneur. I think it's a blessing. It's definitely a blessing. But I also know that it's not going to feel like a blessing every minute of every day, every moment. There are going to be so many things that I don't feel like doing in the moment, but later I'll be so happy that I did it because the overall goal of what I was trying to reach was to keep my business afloat because I love what I do. I literally love running Women's CEO Project. I got other worries. I got other stress. Every time I get on a plane, I think it takes 2 or 3 days off my life. But I told my husband the other day, I was like, having this much time where I haven't been working in corporate, I think has reduced, my stress. Maybe I've added to my life. Maybe it's going to balance out between the flights that I take that are taken away and then not having to work in corporate. It has added to my life because, oh my goodness, the microaggressions in corporate. I understand. I don't thoroughly understand because I've only had a few corporate jobs and my last one was a long time ago. It was almost, what was that, 2006, 7? I think it was 2007. I mean, look how long ago that was, 18 years. Right? So I just wanted to give you a bit of advice. This isn't quite encouragement. It's just straight up advice. Now's the time to stop looking for someone to save you. If someone comes and saves you, thank God. Thank you, God. Right? It's a lot of people need saving right now, though. So I want you to start planning on saving yourself. And what does that look like? You're not going to save yourself all in one day, but what does it look like? Where do you start? Okay. Is saving yourself having some savings? Probably. Is saving yourself creating a budget that you stick to? Probably. Is saving yourself cutting your bills down? Probably. Right? It's probably some of all of that. Right? I don't want us to get caught flat-footed. I don't want us to we have every indicators have been indicating that we need to be planners and we need to be looking at our lives and our time and how we spend it super seriously, right? So that's what I want you to be thinking about. But anyway, I'm going back to my work. I've told my community, y'all ain't gonna see me on live stream too much. Number one, I need to do these videos on YouTube anyway, as opposed to so many live streams. But number two, at this point, because I have to be super intentional about my own time, I only want to work with those who raise their hand. Christy, I want to go forward. And the way that you raise your hand, you get on my email list, you join one of my classes, you join my broadcast channel. If you're just in the community, just to be in the community, I don't know, I don't know if you're serious and I can't just spend time there. So I give triggers for people to raise their hand. They have an opportunity to raise their hand and say, Christy, I need more. I want more. I'm ready to invest. Whether that be time, whether that be money, whether it be both, whatever it is. I want people who raise their hand, right? So those who are coming to the class on Monday, I will see you in class on Monday. We'll go into these in depth. I'm sure I have some things on the way I make money at Women CEO Project that will probably surprise you. And it'll give you some ideas and trigger some things so that you can plan for your 2025 and moving forward. All right, guys, I will see you all soon. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. And I will see you guys in a more formal setting, or maybe not. You guys let me know. Do you prefer a formal video? Or do you want me to just sit down and talk to you? Let me know. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.